Can the Rams find a way to turn it around, or are Micah Parson and those boys about to knock the Rams back at home?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Kev. I think that the Cowboys are gonna get this win in LA, and the only reason why I'm picking the Cowboys over the Rams is I just have no faith in the Rams offense right now. And that's shocking for me to say based on what the Rams did last year winning the Super Bowl. This looks like a completely different offense, and the team just doesn't look in rhythm. When I look back to that 49ers game that they had, last Monday night, they were atrocious. Now, granted, the 49ers have a good defense. I will give San Fran some credit in that regard. The Rams allowed 7 sacks in that game. 7. I mean, we always kind of make the point of the Bengals having a bad offensive line because Joe Burrow's getting hit left and right. Well, the Rams got to put up a Bengals type of offensive line performance, giving up that many sacks against San Fran. And that was a game that Kevin and I picked the Rams quite convincingly to beat San Fran in that matchup. And it just turned out the completely opposite direction. And when I look at this game, when the Rams go up against the Cowboys, I think there's a very good chance that the Cowboys could put up 5 to 6 sacks in this game, just because they've proven it time and time again. It's just relentless the amount of pressure that Dallas's front four can bring. And when you look back to what the Cowboys did last week against Carson Wentz and the Commanders, they were able to bring hellacious pass rushes throughout the entire course of the game. Essentially, that defense held that Carson Wentz-led Commander offense to only 10 points. And there's a very good chance that a similar type of performance can happen in this game against Matt Stafford, just because outside of the Falcons game for the Rams, they've struggled mightily on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, I understand that Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp have a pretty solid relationship with their chemistry, but when it comes to Matt Stafford and Allen Robinson, man, it is shaky at best. And it's just a point of emphasis that I think is growing as the season goes along. They have got to get that chemistry worked out between Robinson and Stafford, because if they can't get that together, this offense is going to struggle. And not only that, their offensive line needs to improve because, Matt's getting hit. It's leading to errant passes. It's leading to turnovers. And until the Rams can turn it around offensively, I just don't have a lot of faith in them. And that's despite the fact that they have somewhat of a decent defense to work with. But when the offense is just giving the ball left and right, it's putting your defense in a bind, and it's giving the other team opportunities to score. And I think there's a very good chance that the Rams could turn the ball over 2 to 3 times in this game. And I think when you look at the Cowboys here, the Cowboys offense has done enough to win them games. Primarily, it's been their defense that has led to a 3-1 record. But Cooper Rush, despite the fact that Kevin and I thought that the Cowboys season was over and done with as soon as Dak went down because their offense didn't show us any sort of life whatsoever, they've been able to run the ball consistently with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, and Cooper Rush is doing enough to not lose in the game. He's not turning the ball over consistently. He's passing the ball effectively, and they're putting enough points on the board to win games. Granted, it may not be where Cooper Rush is throwing 300 to 400 yards a game and he's throwing 4 to 5 touchdowns a game, but it's a winning formula for them. And as much talk as that Cowboys coaching staff has gotten over the years, Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy have done enough to put this team into situations where they can win games. And so far, through the first 4 games, they've largely succeeded. And I think in this matchup, I think they do it again. I think the Cowboys win this one in a relatively close game. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I think the Cowboys win this one by the score of like 23 to 20. I think it's going to be a slugfest, like a lot of games that we're probably covering this week. But overall, I think the Cowboys bump up to 4-1 in the season, and the Rams are sitting at a 2-3 record 5 weeks into the year.
Dude, I couldn't agree more, except I think it's going to be a little bit different on my end. I got the Cowboys winning, but I don't think it's going to necessarily be a close one by 3. I think this could be anywhere from 7 to 10 points, just because Nick Bosa leads the league in pressures on a quarterback, right? Nick Bosa is one of the most elite pass rushers in this game, just like his brother Joey, unfortunately, who was out for the year. But when you look at Micah Parsons, when you look at the comparisons he's been getting, when you look at the mission he seems to be on this year, he is an unstoppable force in and of itself. And that's just one person. This Dallas defense is overperforming by miles. I mean, you couldn't pay me enough money, even if this roster was at full strength, and you would tell me back in August that the Dallas Cowboys would have one of the better defenses in the NFL and have a 3-1 record with a backup quarterback. I'd look at you and I'd laugh hysterically. Um, I can't necessarily put my finger on it, but there's something about Cooper Rush that screams poise. There's something that screams um, calm under pressure. Somebody that is going to be a clock and game manager. He's not going to necessarily do something that's going to win you a game, but he's definitely not going to go and give the other team the ball and lose you a game either. This defense does enough to keep them within range, and Cooper does enough to move the ball down the field with the play action with Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. CeeDee Lamb has performed a little bit better over the last couple of weeks. Michael Gallup has returned. This offense seems to be moving forward in the right direction. And with LA basically moving backwards, Jalen Ramsey's been exposed multiple times. Bobby Wagner clearly has missed a step, albeit he is tackling and making plays in his own right, but he just doesn't look like the Bobby Wagner of old. We all knew that was going to come, especially with age. It's led by Matt Stafford, and with Trayvon Diggs being one of the better ball hawking corners in the league, nobody that's going to go out there and cover and lock you up, in my personal opinion. I still think he's a little overrated in that category, but with someone who's going to go out there and take the ball, and someone that's going to make a play, and someone that can go out there and actually cover for the most part, I think that Dallas is a lot better of a team than people give them credit for. And if all Matt Stafford does is throw to Cooper Kupp, you're just going to see a whole lot of digs lined up on Kupp. And if you're going to see a lot of bubble screens, if you're going to see a lot of screenplays, I don't necessarily think it's going to bode very well. Matt Stafford needs to step up. The offensive line needs to step up, and the defense obviously needs to step up. You have three all pros at every single level, and I'm not seeing enough from each of them. Jalen Ramsey being the worst of it. That play against Deebo Samuel last week on Monday night was atrocious. You're going to tell me you have him one-on-one in open field and you just get embarrassed? You basically let him run by you. You make a failed attempt at a tackle. Dude, you're an all-pro caliber, paid top corner. You're the self-proclaimed second coming of prime time, and you're going to sit there and you're not going to make a tackle in the open field? It's just not a good look for you, man. I'm tired of you talking crap on podcasts on Mondays and Tuesdays saying I got to do better. I'm the best. I am him. Show it. There are plenty of other corners out there that are doing it with less, and you have no excuses. So until the Rams ship up, until the Rams give me a reason to give them a benefit of the doubt, I'm going to go with a backup quarterback and a good defense over an overrated offense and a piss poor offensive line. So I'll take the Cowboys by 7 or 10.